A very good morning to all our viewers. It's bright and early on a Monday and you've joined us live on this broadcast on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira. Well, in the next few minutes, like the drill goes, we will be getting you all the top headlines from across the globe, all that's happening within India Inc. as well as within India, be it in the political front or corporate world, as well as all the latest trends that are doing the round to keep you informed and give you that edge. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, Wall Street witnessed a losing week last week, we could say, with the Nasdaq Composite and the S&P 500 slipping about a 2.9% as well as 2.3% respectively, marking their worst week since March. And the Dow Jones too has finished the week about 1.1% lower. However, the futures linked to these indices were trading with some modest gains in the positive territory. Now, investors are ready for a week with more corporate earnings as well as key inflation reading, which will be out this week. We're also going to see investors shift their focus to the release of July consumer as well as producer price index data. On the macro front, we did see the US economy add about 1,87,000 odd jobs in July, up from the 1,85,000 jobs it saw in June. Now, this marks the smallest increase of the non-farm payroll data since December 2020. The unemployment rate has ticked lower by 3.5% from the 3.6% it was in June and has shown a second consecutive month decline and the lowest level since April, when unemployment hovered around 3.4%. European markets too ended on a downbeat week, we could say, but on a positive note on Friday, the pan-European stock 600 provisionally closed about 0.3% higher, with major bourses as well as the sectors in the positive territory. Overall, the benchmark index fell about 2.7% in the last week alone. Now, investors will be analyzing a series of European banking results as well as the major US economy data, which will be released on Friday, which also showed that growth in the month of July was lesser than expected, indicating slowing economic growth overall. Asia Pacific regions, there the markets are starting the week on a negative note. Well, investors are watching out for China's inflation figure as well as the trade balance data, which will be out later this week. China will be releasing its trade balance on Tuesday, as well as the inflation data on Wednesday, which will give a clue to the country's recovery trajectory. Right now, the Japanese indices, the Nikkei 225, saw a pretty weak open early morning, slumping over 1%. Japan's central bank will be releasing its summary and the option of why it chose to take that decision on July 28th, when it adjusted its stance on its yield curve control policy. Now, in Australia, the S&P ASX 200 too has slid about 0.26%, while as South Korea's Kospi, that one is the only one trading just marginally higher. On the commodities front, well, oil prices are up for the sixth straight week after Saudi Arabia as well as Russia both extended supply cuts through September, adding to that global supply concerns. Brent crude right now is around that $86 per barrel mark. Now, several factors have underpinned prices in the recent week, including the expectations of the U.S. interest rate hikes tapering off, as well as a reduction in the OPEC plus supplies and the hopes of stimulus boosts from oil demand recovery in the world's top crude importer, China, after that dismal second quarter that it saw. Now, Jeddah has hosted the talks on the Ukrainian conflict, which concluded on August 6th. Now, without any concrete action coming beyond a commitment to continue future consultations in favor of peace. More than 40 countries, including China, India, United States, as well as European countries, excluding Russia, took part in these talks. Now, Moscow called this meeting a doomed attempt to swing the global south behind Kyiv's 18 months after Russia has invaded Ukraine. Any prospects of the direct talks between Kyiv and Moscow still appear quite grim. Meanwhile, Russia has upped the ante once again as it mounts massive missile as well as drone attacks against Ukraine in retaliation for a Ukrainian attack on Russian tanker. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has gone on to say that the Russians' guided aerial bomb has hit a blood transfusion center in Kharkiv. Rescue workers were seen extinguishing fire at the scene. Videos have also surfaced showing firefighters dropping to the ground for safety as shelling continues during their emergency response operations. And now in more grim news, well, passenger train derailed in southern Pakistan yesterday, killing at least 25 people and injuring 50 or more odd people. Now, at least 8 carriages of the Hazara Express is what went off track. The incident occurred near a town in the southern province of Sindh, roughly 275 kilometers from the country's largest city, that is Karachi. Now, injured passengers were moved to nearby hospitals. According to the railway minister, the initial investigation showed that the train was moving at normal speed, though the train derailment are become quite common in Pakistan, where between 2013 to 2019, more than 150 people have died in such incidents. A quick recap of all the action on the Lal Street that went down last week. And well, we did see equities recoup most of their losses that it saw on Thursday and managed to close at a 0.7% on Friday. Now, the Nifty 50 jumped about 135 odd points, closing in at 19,517, whereas Sensex climbed 481 points to close at 65,721. Now, the broader markets too also traded like the benchmarks in the green, the Nifty mid cap as well as small cap 100 indices rising about 0.8% each. Among the stocks that were in focus, we saw Zomato extending its up move for the 4th consecutive session and rallying over 10%, the highest level it has seen since February last year. And among the stocks that you need to be keeping on your radar today, LIC Housing Finance, Delivery, Britannia, those could see some action post their Q1 earnings. It is also Biocon has announced some management changes, so that could be on focus. If you have to look from the banking pack, ICICI Bank as well as Bank of Baroda will see some kind of action. And there's more action expected from the primary markets as well this week. We have 2 IPOs which will be opening for subscription as well as 4 stocks which will be newly added to trading. Now, Supply Chain Management Services provider TVS Supply Chain Solutions will be the only IPO in the main board segment, where it's opening on August 10th and will be closing on August 14 for subscription. The second IPO will be from the SME segment, which is Shrivari Spices and Foods. Now, the bidding for this offer will take place today on August 7th and will close on August 9. Now, among the listings on the bourses, it is from the main board segment, we can see the listing of shares by Noida-based super specialty hospital chain Yatharth Hospital that will start today. And among the SME IPOs, we will see Kanchasi Jewelers on the BSE SME segment, whereas Z Global Services as well as Oriana Power will debut on the NSE SME segment on August 9 and August 11. So you can keep these on your radar for all the action from the primary market. Now to some news that we saw from the startup front over the weekend. We did see Oyo founder Ritesh Agarwal, who took to Twitter to share a nostalgic photo of him and a front office manager standing before their company's 3rd property in Gurgaon back in 2013. Now, in the picture, he is seen talking on his phone, on his mobile phone, to which he recollected saying that it might have been a customer trying to book a hotel at 12 a.m. at night when their website had crashed. Now, Ritesh captioned the post saying, "Oh, the memories bring back of the early years of Oyo. My number was even listed on the company's customer care page. It's incredible to see how far we've come since then." And bringing you news on updates from the violence-hit district of Nuh, where we are seeing internet ban will continue until the situation improves. So far, about 216 people have been arrested, 104 FIRs have been registered as well, and about 80 people have been taken into preventive detention. Meanwhile, the demolition drive in the district continues. About 2.6 acres of land has been razed down already, and around 15 others temporary structures which were demolished as part of the drive, police have gone on to say. Now, notices were already given to owners of this demolition that is taking place. And to all the latest trends, and of course, this is a moment that we can smile or look at, because ISRO has gone on to release the first images of the moon that was viewed by Chandrayaan-3, India's 3rd unmanned moon mission. The moon's craters, in fact, the surface was captured by Chandrayaan-3 after entering the lunar orbit on Saturday. Now, yesterday, ISRO said that it has successfully carried out the orbit reduction maneuver of India's 3rd moon mission, which is Chandrayaan-3. The space agency said that it will carry out the next such operation on August 9th, and there will be 3 more moon-bound maneuvers till August 17, following which the landing we'll see the landing module comprising of the lander and the rover, which will then break away from the propulsion module. And now these increasing prices of tomatoes have really created quite a stir. And after seeing some moderation that we saw in prices in the last week when the government had to intervene, we're still seeing those retail prices of tomatoes going as high as 250 kgs in Delhi NCR. So as tomatoes become more expensive, avocados are slowly finding their way into Indian kitchen households. In the recent post, a social media user shared the comparison of the prices of avocados as compared to tomatoes, tweeting that we are living at a time when 1 kg of avocado can be bought for approximately the same price as 1 kg of tomatoes. Now, the caption went on to read that it's a time in the economy when making avocado toast for breakfast is cheaper than dosa and tomato chutney. Now, the post has since then garnered various responses, and many expressing their envy as well as disbelief at the low prices of avocados and, of course, the pinching prices and increasing prices of tomatoes. And what you and I thought was a joke will actually have come to life now, with the tech giants Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, who are all set out for that cage match. In fact, the ex-CEO has declared that his much-awaited fight with rival Thread CEO will be streamed live on X, with the proceeds from that event being donated to a charity for veterans. While Musk has revealed that he will be lifting weights to prepare for the face-off, Zuckerberg has been known for his jiu-jitsu training and also his interest in martial arts. Now, Elon Musk has challenged Mark Zuckerberg in a physical fight earlier in June when the two tech billionaires agreed to a cage match face-off. To all the action you need to be looking out for today, we will see the Manipur DGP who will appear before the Supreme Court. This as 5 people were dead in the last 48 hours in that war-torn state, we could say, in Manipur. All that action really escalating to this level that the Supreme Court taking suo motu action, and that will continue to see in the courtroom as well as what plays out otherwise. And on the sports front, we are going to see the Asian Championship trophy. That tournament is being played off, and just last evening we saw India crush Malaysia to a 5-0 win to inch closer to that semi-finals, and India will now be taking on defending champion South Korea today, and India comfortably right now sits at the top of the table. So we are hoping for another win against South Korea. That's from the sporting front. But if I take you back to all the political action, well, in the parliament today, we are set to witness an important decisions being taken place in both the houses. The Delhi Ordinance Bill will be up for discussion and presented, and also the passage in the Rajya Sabha. And we'll also be looking at whether Speaker Om Birla will now be in the spotlight to decide whether or not to put his signature on whether Rahul Gandhi gets his membership reinstated. This is after the court has convicted that put a stay on his disbarment from Parliament. So a lot of action that we're going to have through the day and also through the week that we have lined up. It is just a Monday morning, so we have a lot more in stores. But for that and for now, it's a wrap on this dose of Newspresso. Hope it was useful and informative and gave you that kick start to your day. But don't forget to come back tomorrow, same place, same time. I'll be right here for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From all of us that put this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.